Welcome to June the 4th. It's a big day today because I include 2014. I'll start from 2017 and work back, and we'll take things from there. Some things should not happen, but they do. There are many reasons for Islamic terrorism. There is no reason for Islamic terrorism. Some search for a common denominator, a book that is read, or a creed followed, but it is too simple to say it would be people who read the New York Times or vote left-wing, even though every single terrorist of the West may be described that way. And locking up all terrorists or left-wingers might be appealing to some. History tells us that that is not the solution. Mass incarceration failed the British in South Africa during the Boer War. Mass incarceration was an abuse of power by FDR in World War II of Japanese US citizens. Donald Trump has framed the evil losers correctly. The evil losers are the problem of the Middle East and related nations, which has nothing to do with Israel. Strong borders promote peace. Evil losers are losing, just like the swamp is being drained, and they are fighting back even as they lose. Never forget those who endorse and underplay the evil of the evil losers. The evil losers claim they have reasons for their atrocities. There is no reason for terrorism. In 1615, the siege of Osaka, forces under Tokugawa Ieyasu took Osaka Castle in Japan. The siege success resulted in the destruction of a clan and the establishment of the shogunate. In 1647, Canonicus Grand Chief Sachem of the Narragansett Indian tribe died. He was Chief Sachem of the Narragansett tribe, rivals of the Wampanoag, at the time of the Pilgrims' landing in Plymouth. In 1783, the Montgolfier brothers publicly demonstrated their Montgolfier, a hot air balloon. In 1784, Elizabeth Thibble became the first woman to fly in an untethered hot air balloon. Her flight covered 4 kilometers in 45 minutes and reached 1,500 meters altitude estimated. In 1802, grieving over the death of his wife, Marie Clotilde of France, King Charles Emmanuel IV of Sardinia abdicated his throne in favor of his brother Victor Emmanuel. She had been a fat child and had not wanted to marry, but the King of France used her marriage to advance his agenda, and she came to love her husband. They tried to have children, but failed. In 1878, Cyprus Convention, the Ottoman Empire ceded Cyprus to the United Kingdom, but retained nominal title. The Ottoman was the sick man of Europe, and her empire was crumbling. When the Ottoman had been growing, she had used her minorities to forge the empire. But as she collapsed, she abused her minorities. Europe was appalled at how Islam treated Christians, and so created Bulgaria to be independent of the Ottomans in order to get a better deal. Ottomans gave Cyprus to Britain, but retained the title in name. It worked, and the Ottoman persecution of Armenians and Assyrians continued. In 1896, Henry Ford completed the Ford Quadricycle, his first gasoline-powered automobile, and gave it a successful test run. It was two-speed and had no reverse. It could reach 32 kilometers an hour. In 1912, Massachusetts became the first state of the United States to set a minimum wage. The policy was a wonderful failure and did not lift wages for the poor, but allowed prosecution of those who paid too little. In 1913, Emily Davison, a suffragette, ran out in front of King George V's horse, Anmer, at the Epsom Derby. She was trampled, never regained consciousness, and died 4 days later. She hadn't wanted to die, she had wanted to cause a spectacle. She made it halfway. In 1939, during the Holocaust, the MS St. Louis, a ship carrying 963 Jewish refugees, was denied permission to land in Florida in the United States after already being turned away from Cuba. FDR had known what he was doing and what would happen to the victims. Forced to return to Europe, more than 200 of its passengers later died in Nazi concentration camps. In 1940, World War II, the Dunkirk evacuation ended. British forces completed the evacuation of 338,000 troops from Dunkirk in France. To rally the morale of the country, Winston Churchill delivered his famous "We shall fight them on the beaches" speech. In 1942, World War II, the Battle of Midway began. The Japanese Admiral Chuichi Nagumo ordered a strike on Midway Island by much of the Imperial Japanese Navy.